The woman stared at her phone screen, watching another call from her ex-husband's parents go unanswered. Their venomous voicemails painted her as the villain, but they conveniently ignored the months of her shouldering parenthood alone while he played weekend visitor to his own child. It had started with a shared dream that became a nightmare. She and her husband, both in their late 20s, had built their relationship on mutual understanding. No children. Living in Texas, she felt the world was too uncertain, too harsh to bring an innocent life into. More importantly, motherhood had never called to her heart. They were partners in this decision, or so she believed. Then her IUD failed. The positive pregnancy test felt like a death sentence to the life she'd carefully constructed. In Texas, her options vanished with the changing political landscape. Desperate, she begged her husband to help her travel out of state for an abortion. His refusal cut deeper than the unwanted pregnancy itself. "I won't take you," he declared, using fear as his weapon. He spoke of criminal charges, of legal consequences that terrified her into submission. When she pleaded for him to get a vasectomy to prevent future accidents, he scoffed. "I'm not mutilating myself," he said, as if her body hadn't already been violated by circumstance and law. The pregnancy stretched like a prison sentence. She carried a child she never wanted, trapped by geography, and a partner who had betrayed their fundamental agreement. When their son arrived, she felt no rushing maternal instincts, no overwhelming love that movies promised. Instead, she felt empty, resentful, and profoundly alone. 1 month after the birth, she filed for divorce. The papers were finalized when their baby was 3 months old, but freedom felt hollow when she remained chained to full-time motherhood. Her ex-husband moved to his own apartment while she stayed in the home she'd inherited from her grandparents, now transformed from sanctuary to battlefield. He became a weekend visitor to his own child. Casual drop-ins when convenient, never overnight stays despite her suggestions. She watched him play at fatherhood while she drowned in the reality of it. Working from home as a software developer, she juggled coding with crying, deadlines with diaper changes. Her productivity plummeted as her sanity frayed. "I need 50-50 custody," she told him repeatedly. His response was always the same dismissive promise. "I'll let you know when I find a weekend that works." The breaking point came on a Tuesday morning. 4 months postpartum, her maternity leave exhausted, she couldn't bear another day of his indifference to their shared responsibility. She packed the diaper bag with shaking hands, her son gurgling innocently in his carrier, unaware he was about to become the catalyst for change. The car dealership buzzed with activity when she arrived. Her ex-husband stood beside a gleaming sedan, his sales smile faltering when he spotted her approaching. The shock in his eyes intensified when she placed their son directly into his arms. "We're doing 50-50 custody," she announced, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "You have him this week. Drop him off Monday." Panic replaced shock on his face. "Who will watch him while I work?" he stammered, as if this question had never occurred to him during her months of juggling career and childcare. "Daycare," she replied simply. "Figure it out." "I can't afford daycare," he protested, the same man who'd forced her into motherhood now claiming financial inability to parent. "Then you figure out how to be a dad the same way I had to figure out how to be a mom," she said, walking away as his protests echoed behind her. Now his parents called her every name imaginable, their fury directed at the woman who dared demand their son step up. The irony wasn't lost on her. They wanted him to have parental rights without parental responsibilities, expecting her to sacrifice her life while protecting his convenience. She'd tried adoption during pregnancy, but he'd refused consent. She'd contacted lawyers about formalizing custody, but the wheels of justice moved slowly. Meanwhile, she'd spent 4 months drowning while he floated by on weekend visits. As she sat in the quiet of her inherited home, her son finally with his father, she wondered if her desperate move made her the villain in everyone else's story. She'd never wanted to be a mother, had been forced into it by law and circumstance, and now demanded the father take equal responsibility for the life he'd insisted on creating. What do you think? When someone is forced into parenthood against their will, do they have the right to demand equal responsibility from the other parent? Was her action justified, or did she cross a line? Share your thoughts.